Hey everybody, this is the week 29 lesson. We are discussing predicting weather through meteorology. I'm going to start this week by thanking you all for the feedback that you gave me in the weekly reflection form. This helps improve the class for everybody. So thank you for taking the time to do that. Based on your feedback, these lessons are going to be much shorter. I'm going to be talking faster. Feel free to pause and go back to hear anything repeated. Also, I'm going to go in depth with the content rather than going in depth with explaining the assignment directions. So keep the feedback coming. We can continue to improve this course. Keep working hard in this class. I understand that this class would be much easier if we were in the physical classroom, explaining this stuff in person and working together. However, online learning provides you with flexibility and freedom to engage with this content whenever it's best for you and at your own pace. To support you with this, I am available through Zoom calls or through email. You will get an immediate response from me during my office hours, which are 9 to 11 every day and 12 to 2 every afternoon. If you want to meet outside of these hours, I'm pretty flexible. I can usually make that work. Just send me an email to schedule a meeting or to convey your questions and concerns to me. I'm here to support you. As a reminder, each week there are 3 things I would like you to do. Start by watching the weekly lesson, complete the weekly assignment, and then complete the weekly reflection. The weekly lesson is like our check-in at the beginning of class. Your weekly assignment is like your work time. And the weekly reflection is like an exit ticket where you are internalizing what you've learned, and it gives you an opportunity to tell me how the course is going for you and what could be better. Okay, mid-latitude cyclones. We are discussing mid-latitude cyclones because they are responsible for a majority of the weather that we experience in Wisconsin, the Midwest, and North America. They are the result of warm air coming up from the tropical regions, the Gulf of Mexico, Central America, mixing with cold air that's coming down from the polar regions, coming from the Canadian region and northern United States. Mid-latitude cyclones are a series of fronts that rotate around a low pressure center, which is represented as the big red L on this map. So these fronts, the red and blue lines, are going to rotate, spin around this low pressure center. Understanding how mid-latitude cyclones work and the type of weather that occurs at each front within a mid-latitude cyclone can help us to predict weather. Mid-latitude cyclones are like frisbees. When you throw a frisbee, that frisbee is spinning around the center while it's moving from point A to point B. Mid-latitude cyclones are moving from west to east. Based on the way that the Earth rotates, they will always move from west to east, left to right across the map, and they will always spin. The center of that spin will be that low pressure center, that big red L. Think of these like very weak and bigger hurricanes. I say that because both a hurricane and a mid-latitude cyclone, they spin around the center, and they are also moving from point A to point B. So each mid-latitude cyclone has its own series of fronts. A warm front is where warm air is pushing into cold air, and a cold front is where cold air is pushing into warm air. This occurs from what I discussed earlier, the mixing of warm tropical air with cold polar air. This diagram at the top left shows us the typical weather that occurs at each type of front. Because warm air always goes over cold air due to density, warm fronts will always have warm air pushing over cold air, which give us long periods of light showers and stratus clouds, nimbostratus clouds if they contain any precipitation, which is rain or snow. Cold fronts, when they come through, they push that warm air above it. This rapid rising of warm air creates cumulus clouds or cumulonimbus clouds if they have precipitation. Cold fronts bring heavy thunderstorms, heavy showers of snow or rain over a shorter period of time. This is also described down here on the right. So think of a weather front as the leading edge of an air mass. If you look at the bottom left, all of this warm air is moving together. It's pushing into this area where there's cold air. This warm front is going to cause this type of weather you see in the top diagram to occur in this region of the map. Same with a cold front. It's just a section of cold air which is pushing into a section of warm air, and we'll see this type of weather. On your assignment, just like last week, when you are reading through the article, you will see some questions outlined in red. Those are required. You will also see questions outlined in blue. These are optional, extra credit. When you finish the assignment, please hit the turn in button. If you do not hit the turn in button, I do not know that you finished and it does not get graded. After you complete the assignment, please complete the weekly reflection to help you internalize the learning from this week and so you can tell me how it's going. Feel free to collaborate with peers in the class. Make sure though that you submit your own copy of the assignment to receive a grade. I want to talk about number 4 on your assignment. This is the last question on the assignment. What I want you to do for this one is pick a letter on the map, either F or B or C, and based on what you've learned about mid-latitude cyclones, tell me what will the temperature be like at that letter? What type of clouds will be present? And what type of weather is likely to occur? There's one required and there are several for extra credit. One other reminder, you have 2 presentation projects to complete before the school year is over. Any week that you decide, you can skip the weekly assignment, your grade will be excused, and you can work on the presentation instead for a topic that we will cover in this class during quarter 4. Some of you have emailed me asking if it's okay this week that you work on the project instead of the assignment. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that you're keeping me in the loop. Here's a list of the topics that we will cover in quarter 4. We've already done the first one. We're doing the second one currently. And the project requirements are described here. There is a link to a document that I gave you last week. One last thing. If you would prefer to have the article or text in your assignment read out loud for you, there's an app for that. You have a screen reader built into your Chromebook. On the last page of the slides and in your assignment directions, I've linked this document. I made this document to help guide you through how to access the screen reader, which is built into your Chromebook. You don't have to install it, and listen to text using this app. You can also change the language. There are additional links down here to help you get started with your screen reader if that's what you would prefer.